Welcome to the Seahawkers podcast. I'm Brandon Schultz. This is from the Podium post-game edition as the Seahawks picked up their third win in a row on Sunday, this time beating the New York Giants. Pete Carroll, he had a lot to say when he got his press conference started.
Boy, that was a really satisfying win. And this was one of those games when you got so much respect for the other team and what they've been playing like and accomplishing the players and the way that Brian has done such a great job with these guys and going that, we held this matchup in high regard. And to play that well across the board, all three phases were on it. Our effort was terrific. Our hitting was great. The team had 2 penalties. And then I had one. But that was terrible. But it was a good call, not a bad call. But just a complete win here at Lumen for everybody. And I know that, it's kind of been on alert. What's going on here? What are these guys doing? How's this happening? They're hanging together and they're playing together and they know that they can improve and they know that there's areas in their football that they can get better. And so, there's just nobody satisfied at all. And it's a great feeling. It's the way you want your team to be at this time here with midway point, all but, and, we're in good position in the division to make some noise if we can keep rolling. But it's about where we're going. And these guys have kept their eye on it. Tyler's done a great job of keeping the message solid about it. The story's not written yet, and we got a lot to do. And it's just a really cool feeling for these guys, and they've accomplished a tremendous amount in half a season. So, the defense was great today. They played great football. This is a team that was rushing for 170 something, and with an incredible back, and he doesn't get going today, and they don't get going today. And it was an all-day job. It wasn't like in flashes. It was all day long. We played consistently hard and tough and solid and disciplined and strict, and just like we needed to. And I thought Clint and his guys did a great job today. I mean, the game plan was excellent. There was just so few plays in there that got out of hand, and just a couple of them, and that they were good enough to get some points out of it. But just all in all, it's a great day's work. All the sacks that happened, Chenna again, run and pass, 2 sacks today. Mafe gets his first one. Great for him. He's playing good. He played really well today. Did some really good things. Mike Jackson had a heck of a game today. It seemed. I can talk about all of them because everybody did something good today. Gino again, solid as a rock, right on point with the whole day's work. Handled the line of scrimmage beautifully. They did all kinds of stuff at us, and he dealt with it and handled it and checked off and did the things we need to do in the game plan to keep it moving. They're a tough team to deal with. They're very, very high tech in what they do on defense and the stuff they throw at you. And it called for the quarterback to really be in command. And even when Austin goes out and gets banged up, and then Kyle comes in to keep that flow going and to continue to play winning football with really, it's just a tribute to the guys doing the work and the players and everybody being on board and all of that. So, man, there's just praise to go everywhere. Nothing more favorite than knocking the ball out of their hands and taking the ball off them on special teams. Dis had a great hit. Homer had a great hit to do that. I think Dis recovered Homer's. It was just exactly the way we want to do it. And the stadium felt it, and they were with us, and they were, we played to them the whole time, and all the way to the end when you can feel the pass rush is picking up and they're going backwards, and it was like it was last time we were here too. It's happening, and I'm really excited about it. So we're just getting warmed up. We're right in the middle of it all, and we got a long ways to go.
With this win, Pete Carroll tied his former boss and legendary Vikings coach Bud Grant with 168 career wins.
I don't have a good thought on what it means. I did get him on the phone and talk to him here just to kick it around, because I just had to try to make it real, because I can't tell you how much I love the guy and how much I've respected him throughout my career and the opportunity that he gave me to get me back in the league. I've been here in the league 1 year. I got fired, got thrown out of it, and he gave me a chance to come back. I don't know why he saw it, but he did. And from that point forward, the relationship that we had has just been meaningful to me in everything that I've done, And so it doesn't even make sense to me. And I said, now, could this possibly be? Yeah. He said, yeah, it is. It is. The same thing. Well, it ain't that big a deal. Neither one of us thinks that big a deal. But to me, it is just because it's Bud, and anyway. It's one of the things that I think that it does state, though, that I'm really proud of, is being in this organization for so many years, and to have the consistency that we've had to give us a chance to keep coming back. A lot of coaches don't get them as many chances as I've had, and to be able to stay in this organization is because of the ownership. It goes right back to Paul and Jody and what they've done and how they've structured this thing to give us a chance for the consistency and the expectations of the excellence and the standards that we operate by. Jody's doing a magnificent job. And I know I've always say this, you don't know well enough what she's like and what she's all about, but she is so clear and so powerfully grounded in what it takes to be great for our fans. And that's what she cares about. She wants us to win for the people in the Northwest. And so she's tough. She's firm. She's having a blast. She's everything, but without that kind of security in support, they had thrown me out here a long time ago, just like they do, so I feel very indebted to the family and their confidence in Johnny and us having this chance to do this.
One key to this 168th victory was Tyler Lockett's touchdown response after a few mistakes early in the game.
Tyler he's the best receiver I've ever been around. I've never seen anybody do all of the things so consistently for such a long time. Of course he's going to make a double move and score a touchdown. Of course he's going to come back. It was just a matter. I told him, I think you're going to get two before it happened. I just had a feeling he was going to do something. And sure enough, he runs just a great double move and gets in the end zone just to let you know who he is again. So everybody's going to make a mistake sometime.
Here was Lockett's commentary on that turnaround.
Yeah, when I dropped the pass, it was kind of one of those things where, I couldn't believe I had just did that. So it was kind of frustrating, but I just had to breathe a little bit. I had a lot of teammates behind me talking to me. Like you said, Pete was able to come talk to me. And, I just had to breathe, man. That was the biggest thing. And luckily, I had an opportunity just to be able to go out there and to be able to overcome it just with another play. Sometimes that might not even happen, and you got to be able to carry that to the next week and try to overcome it. But, just thank God I got the opportunity to overcome it with the next play. Gino threw a great pass, and I was able to catch it and secure it and score.
Continuing with Lockett, Pete tried to motivate him on the sideline by telling him he was the best receiver he'd ever coached.
I didn't really know if he was telling me the truth or he just wanted me to forget about the catch, But no, it really did mean a lot to me when he said that, because it's kind of like what Sanjay says, like if we have a bad day, DK was doing it today too. He'll say, "What you eat for breakfast?" And because it just mentally takes you out of what's going on and it makes you kind of like, think about something else. And so when Pete did that, it kind of did that to me a little bit. And yeah, it was just one of those things where, you got to be able to fight through adversity. Sometimes you don't like the story of how things happen. But, if we ever knew what the outcome was going to be, we would be willing to go through that story. And so, I just was able to go through that today.
Lockett was also playing through an injury on Sunday.
It felt good out there. Was able to run around a little bit. Wasn't able to practice on Friday, of course, but like DK said, I think the athletic trainers did a great job just with being able to get us ready, giving us certain things that we needed to be able to do to be able to strengthen certain areas so we can be able to go out here and try to be able to play at a high level.
Also playing through injury was his fellow wide receiver, DK Metcalf.
Well, everybody's saying I got hurt Sunday. Just went to rehab. Pete and Strick had a good plan for me throughout the week, and they were just going to see how I felt, Friday. And Friday I felt good enough to be able to run and put pressure on my knee and cut and everything, and I was able to practice, and here we are today.
And while we're on the topic of injuries, let's get to the only new injured player from Sunday's game, which was center Austin Blythe.
Low knee sprain that he could have gone back in, and we said let's wait, and we held him off to be only in an emergency. So Kyle did a great job to get in there and step in.
Continuing on with Coach Carroll, here were his comments on one of the most electrifying plays on the day, Ken Walker's touchdown run.
What the heck did he do on the run? He's falling down, and then he's in the end zone. I don't know how that happened. That just was a shocking play to me. It was similar to the he's had a couple. He had one on the sidelines in front of our bench the other day, a couple weeks ago. But that play right there, I was shocked. I don't know if the crowd could feel it. He was going down. He was on his way to the ground, and then all of a sudden, he got his feet underneath him, and he breaks the next tackle, and he's in the end zone. I don't know. It's an amazing play. I can't wait to study it up.
Gino also had some commentary about that play.
Another great one. Ken is, we were talking right before that drive about the best running backs close out games. The defense knows we're running the ball. Everyone in the stadium knows you're running the ball. You're probably going to have to make somebody miss, which he made 2 or 3 guys miss on that one. And he's showing you, why he was drafted so high and why he's just such an explosive and amazing player.
On the other side of the ball, the Seahawks defense was able to keep running back Saquon Barkley in check. Here were the thoughts from safety Quandre Diggs on the defense's performance.
It's huge. It always starts up front, and, our big guys attacking and, doing their thing. And, we just, JB, Cody, Ryan, myself, we just cleaning it up and, fitting what we needed. And, when those guys make an impact like that, it's huge, because Saquon's he's arguably the best running back in the league. And, he's been doing, great things all year. So that's huge.
One player who has been key in the Seahawks' improvement on defense, pass rusher Bruce Irvin. And that's coming from Pete Carroll.
Shoot, he looked great today. He was all over the place. Just missed this darn sack right off the bat. And, but he's helping us. It's really good to have him here. He connects us with the history somewhat. And I don't want to make too much of that because these guys don't even know, but he does. And he knows the mentality and the kind of just the hardness of how we approach stuff. And he is that. He always has been. So, I was talking to Cam and Ben and Cliff before the game, and they know, they can see it too, that he kind of gives that connection. Look at how we're playing. We look like the teams that we look like we used to look. And the stadium is rocking like it used to rock. And we're playing the kind of football that gives us a chance to win every time we go out. And I think he's going to help us all the way down the whole stretch. I think it's going to be a really important part of it.
We're going to get to Carroll's Monday comments here shortly, but here are a few fun bits from the postgame press conferences, including whether or not Gino plans on attending DK Metcalf's Halloween party.
I would love to, but I have other. I was invited, but I got other obligations. Yeah, I was invited, but I got other obligations, so I'm gonna leave that up to them.
Man, as much as this has been talked about in these press conferences, this Metcalf Halloween party better be legendary. Like, we better hear something about it coming up this week. One thing that Pete Carroll learned at the press conference was that the official called a penalty on the Seattle Mariners when Pete ran into the official on the sideline.
No way.
Yeah.
Awesome. I got it. I can do a little hit and run now. Scott's got it wired. He don't need me.
Hearing from Pete on Monday, it was all about the Seahawks defense. Here was Coach Carroll talking about Bruce Irvin playing 72% of the Seahawks defensive snaps.
Oh, I didn't think that was going to happen. It was an accomplishment to get him to play, but it is a statement about his preparation and his ability, his athleticism, to be able to hold on and all. He looked great. He really could have had an enormous game. If it was right within his hands there to get a couple sacks and the big playmakes in the backfield and all that. So it was a great showing.
Carroll was also happy with linebacker Cody Barton's performance, and he should be. I think that was one of Barton's better games this year.
He did a nice job. I thought it was his most aggressive, most active game. I liked the way he was hitting the line of scrimmage, hitting the blocks and stuff. He's really benefiting from the way the guys are playing in front of him. He's fitting well. We're just getting better. We're getting better and we're getting more consistent at what we're doing. And you can see the aggressiveness show, when they feel good about where they're hitting, they know what it's going to feel like, and the preparation really carries over to the games. Then the guys will continue to be more aggressive. You're seeing that collectively, but he definitely did show that.
And to close this out, let's get an update on cornerback Trey Brown and when we might see him on the field.
I think the trainers are going to want to see him sustain, more solid days in a row before they really cut him loose. But he practiced last week, and he practiced with us, and he was going full speed. So, but in limited numbers. So they'll increase his numbers for sure, and just see how he handles it. And, make an assessment at the end of the week. We're not going to rush to get him back after all the time he's been out. But he looked good last week. So I wouldn't be surprised, if he's pushing it by the end of the week to say, he looks like he can play.
Statistical leaders on the day included quarterback Geno Smith. He went 23 of 34 for 212 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Ken Walker, he had 18 runs for 51 yards and that touchdown run. Leading the way for receivers was DK Metcalf with 6 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Lockett actually led in terms of yardage with 5 catches and 63 yards. Hopping on over to the defense, Mike Jackson led the way for the team in terms of tackles, 7 tackles on the day. He also led the team in passes defensed with 3. Uchenna Nwosu led the team in sacks with 2. He combined for 6 tackles. He and Cody Barton had 6 tackles on the day, and it was Nwosu also leading in tackles for a loss, and he was actually tied with Ryan Neal, each of them having 2 tackles for a loss. And that's going to do it for the show. Thanks to Wilson Kahn for helping to produce this episode. Follow him out on Twitter at Wilson_Kahn, C-O-N-N. You can follow me out on Twitter at SeahawkersPod. We're going to be recording the next episode of 3 In, 3 Out on Tuesday. And of course, looking forward to hearing from the flock, all of your ins and outs from this game. We'll have them all for you coming up on the next episode of 3 In, 3 Out. And so until then, go Hawks.